Hello friends, I just thought I would take you through what I got today at the Sydney Pen Show. I'm a little bit excited and I wanted to go through things and I wanted to open things and test them. So I'm going to start with the notebook because I'm going to do all the stuff in the notebook. So this was a gift or a freebie from the market, and it is a Clairefontaine papered Cuvotis notebook, lined around corners, 80 sheets. Odd size though, I think maybe it's a B5, I'm not quite sure, but it apparently is the best paper in the world for writing on. I have a couple of friends who are in love with this paper. It is beautifully smooth. I could sit here for a while just playing with it. But it's nice. It's got an elastic closure, pocket in the back. It'll be good for notes. It'll be fun to use. And I'm going to test all of the inks that I got today with it. Now, I don't know if you know, but I've got a bit of a oh, that's not a fountain pen, but I've got a bit of a collection of fountain pens, mostly Lammies. I also love this TWSBI Eco that I bought from a D-stash actually, and I've got a couple of others that aren't out on my desk. My TWSBI is my go-to at the moment. And speaking of TWSBIs, recently they have released the TWSBI Go, which has the same nib as the Eco, but it's more of a beginner's fountain pen, or maybe you would call it just, you know, a bit of a rough and tumble pen because of how it's made. The TWSBI Eco is sort of made from a very hard plastic. It's very high quality. It's not the highest quality in their range. They've got the Diamond 580 and ones above that that are simply stunning. But I would say this is a good starter pen. This is an even better one. The plastic in it is, I would think it's very close to the Pilot Preppy feeling pen, which is, I mean, it's still nice. It's still a nice pen. Difference is got a snap cap rather than a screw-on cap, which when you want to use something fast, it is a little bit easier. It posts beautifully. It's a little bit thicker than the Eco, but that's okay. And the filling mechanism is really what this pen is all about. I will get to that in a minute because I will be filling it with an ink that I bought today. Other things that I got today were, I want to try my hand at some proper calligraphy. So I picked this up, the Mobilique straight and oblique pen holder, because it will do both, depending on where you put your nib in. The thing this also has about it is it actually has a little thing in the center where you can put an additional 1 or 2 nibs so that you can swap at your leisure, or just for storage if it's going into a bag or pencil case of some description. The colors were beautiful. This was not the only color they had. There was also a pink, rose gold, gold, copper, metal gun. Oh, gunmetal, sorry. Plain black, white. Excuse me. If they'd had a purple, I would have got it, but this was the next best thing. It actually matches a lot of my planner stuff anyway. And to go with that, I referenced these earlier as inks that kind of look like eyeshadow, and they really kind of do. I got 3 colours. I got lavender, which is a beautiful, well, lavender shade. I got this duochrome mermaid, which is sort of a green and sort of a pink colour. And I got the midnight blue, which is very Ravenclaw to me. So I got those 3, and I'm not quite sure if you can see them very well. Where's I'm using my phone to record this, I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Some shine. It's beautifully shimmery. Let's try this one. Okay, so you can see the green shimmer through it. And last but not least, the blue is just, oh, love it. Okay, so to show you how these come out, and to show myself how these come out, I've just got a little art brush. And I'm only going to use a little one because I want it to dry out. I'm guessing these go in some kind of case. I'll have to look up the brand. They're made in Germany, Coloro Pearl Colors. It looks like they actually sort of belong in something that you can snap them into or put them into or whatever. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to store this yet. So apparently what you do is you get a brush, wet the brush, and then drag it along the top of the ink until you get as much colour as you want. And then you load up your dip pen from the brush. So this is the lavender. I'm just going to... Oh, that is gorgeous. So shiny. Although having said that, the purple, the lavender is shining the purple, but the colour underneath it is a bit dull. Sorry, I've got a bit of a dry throat after trying to be heard in the pen market today. And don't get me wrong, the shimmer is beautiful, but I'm not sure that the base colour does it any justice. But I'll have to wait and see how I go with that in the actual pen, because I'm probably not putting enough water in it or something. So that was the lavender. Let's go with the mermaid next. Okay, so that's definitely sort of a blush. Wouldn't even call it pink, it's almost an orange with that green shimmer through it. See, I don't even know if you can see it, but it's yeah, it's sort of like a peachy colour as opposed to pink, which I'm happy with, by the way, because you know pink's not my favourite. But that's actually quite pretty. And last but not least, I have a feeling this is going to be my favourite. Just, here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not grabbing enough pigment. I think that's the thing here. I'm definitely, oh, there we go. Okay, I'm not getting enough pigment. Okay, that is beautiful. That is the exact kind of blue I thought it would be. So I'm just going to go back with these other ones and see if I can get a bit more pigment out of them. Yeah, no, that's still the same. I guess that's what happens with the lighter colours. They are not as pigmented as the dark colours, it's just the way it is. Let's try again with this lavender. I have to say, I think the lavender was the one I was most excited for. Oh yeah, that's a totally different colour now that I've picked up more of that purple. Okay. I mean, it's still got that, I would even call that like a mink coloured background. I know quite often sort of when you look at, say, the Pearl X colours, they have a mink one, and it's sort of similar to that, but with the green shimmer. Yeah. No, you can definitely see it more now that I've picked up more pigment. So they were the eyeshadow, the eyeshadow colours. Yeah. Now, the only real other things I got were some inks. And the first one I got, which I quite liked, was the Blackstone Barrister Blue, which is actually a waterproof ink. I did pick up a few samples as well, but there's only 2 ml of those, so I won't worry about doing this with those. They're sort of for my own personal pleasure. Okay, so as you can see, it's sort of a really deep blue, but it's sort of blue without being boring. And once it's dry, once it's set, it's actually waterproof, so it won't run or smudge if it gets wet. Really quite in love with that colour. Which pen will I use it in? I don't know, actually possibly my Lamy Demonstrator, once I've given it a good clean out. So that's that one. And last but not least, Robert Oster is fast becoming one of my favourite brands of ink, purely because of the colour range that he has. It's made in Australia, as is the Blackrock. It's a little more pricey than the Blackrock, but I do believe... No, I think that's only a 25 ml. But, you know, there is a good 50 ml of colour here, so it's quite a decent amount. These were $16.95. This is also a limited colour that was made specifically for the pen show. So, Sydney Lavender, I mean, really, how could I pass that up? As you can see on the cotton bud, it's quite dark, but it promises to be this beautiful sort of deep grape lavender. Oh my goodness, I love it. I really, really do. I really, really love it. Put a bit of water in it. I mean, it's just beautiful. I'm so happy with that. I'm so glad I bought 2 bottles. I bought 2 bottles because I knew it would be sort of a definite once-off. There was no way I was ever going to be able to get my hands on that again. It dries down. Actually goes really well with this. But it dries down beautifully. I think that's very, very usable. And in fact, I will be very, very using it. So now that I have this open, this is where my TWSBI Go comes into play. So, excuse me. So going back to the TWSBI Go, filling this, you remove this. Now, if you know nothing about the TWSBIs, where's my TWSBI? They are what's called an eyedropper or a vacuum seal. There is no cartridge, there is no converter. It is literally the ink drawn up into the barrel of the pen, which has its advantages and disadvantages. The big advantage is it can take a whole lot of ink, rather than, say, let's go with the Lamy. And even though the Lamy holds quite a bit, no, that's not a converter. Let's see if I've got one with a converter. Converter. So the Lamy only holds, and I think that's about 3 or 4 mil, maybe 5 if you're lucky, but that's all it holds. Whereas this will hold a good sort of 10 mil easy. It's quite large in its capacity. So if you're someone who uses, writes a lot, and you do use a fountain pen, then these are definitely ones to look at. So this doesn't hold quite as much as the Eco. Oh, almost spilled it. But it does still have quite a hefty chamber. Now, one of the reasons I was particularly drawn to this one is the way you fill it. So with the Eco, you stick the nib in and you pull up the end to sort of draw it up slowly. With the Go, you press down, stick it in your ink, and then slowly release it back up. So it's quite spectacular, actually. So I'm just gonna wanted to sort of pump a bit of water into it just so everything was moving. Now, excited. So I'm going to be using the Rubber Duster Lavender. Getting my nib right down there. Can I do this first go? It actually took me a few goes. And that was a complete fail. Here we go. Let's try again. I've got to get that right down in there. Oh, this is a learning curve. Oh, there we go. I got a fair bit in there. It's not as much as I'd like. I should be able to get twice that. Let's try again. And the great thing is because it's vacuum pressured, you push down and all the ink just comes out. Here we go. Fantastic. Okay, that's a good fill. That is a very good fill. So I've got, as you can see, all of this ink in here. And because it's drawn up through the feed, that's all, that's all filled up as well. So then to protect that, the back end goes back on, and it should be a bit plug and play. Let's have a look. There we go. I've got the super fine nib on this, so it's going to take a minute for it to feel comfortable. TWSBI. Yeah, it's still coming down into that. Oh, yep, it's in there. Well, I never said I was a professional. Here we go. TWSBI. Go. Nice. Now, just like my other TWSBI, so part of this is the colouring or the pigment in the ink. Now, this was a big swatch with the cotton buds. Obviously, it's going to write a little bit different, but that is wonderful. That actually writes very, very well. Compared to my Eco, they've got the exact same nib. Obviously, this one's been in use a lot longer. It's got just enough scratch. I like a little bit of scratch when it comes to... It has the same feel as the Eco. So that is the TWSBI Go. And that is my Sydney Pen Market haul with all my bits and pieces. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will let you know how this pen goes, and I will see you next time. Bye.